And then when I was going around today, I had some spare time. I watched a video, and someone recently made a music video completely generated by AI. And so I thought, if you're doing a story, you really only need the pictures to be up for a short period of time, and then you're moving on to the next chapter in the story. So I thought you can see how these kind of images would be a great kind of backdrop to a narrative, combined with the text to speech that we've been working on.
Yeah. And so I find this area really fascinating too, and I've been working on some tools to this end. And so some of the, particularly the video generation is going to be pretty interesting because you can essentially all a video would have to be is just 25 frames per second of AI generated images. And so you'd be generating a lot of images, no doubt. If you wanted to even just do a minute, you've got 60 times 25, but it's definitely possible.
I think that I don't think it needs to be. I think you're just generating a frame every few seconds, like a picture book. You're reading, oh, well,
Yeah.
not a picture
Yeah.
book, but a kid's
You don't
book.
have to do the full video. Yeah.
Yeah, you're reading a paragraph and you have an image to go with that, and you want it to be engaging and last for around 3 seconds, as long as you're reading that paragraph or that sentence. And as soon as the visual changes, then you just crossfade to something else, and you could have other things going on, like you could have the, what do they call that, the Ben's lens effect or whatever, where it's slightly zooming in or zooming out or panning across or something.
Yeah.
Keep people's attention captivated.
That's right. Yeah. Ken, no, like
Burns.
Steadicam, and Ken Burns. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually been toying around with that, with adding Steadicam and dynamic shots into this. So even if you just got a static image, you're adding a bit of movement. And you can also add overlays like smoke and rain to add a bit of movement as well. I didn't realize we were going to be talking exactly about this thing, so I don't have an example. I'm running it now, but I don't think it'll be ready in time. But yeah, basically creating a video from a prompt. I pass it a topic, and in this case, the topic is Roger is the last of his kind, a powerful android tasked with protecting the last remnants of humanity from an alien invasion. And so you can get these topics, you can just get ChatGPT to generate these topics for you. But the software that I've built will basically take the topic in. I could even be more brief about it. Take the topic in and generate a script based on the duration that you set, and then that script will have a beginning, a middle, and the end with a climax and things like that. And depending on how you do the prompt engineering, you can define what the narrative is, what the hero does. We've got to make the reader discover something about themselves in the process. So there's a lot of things, and then it generates the image, generates the overlays, and then renders, also generates the voice. So I'm hoping. I haven't got it running at the moment, but having some issues. But I would love to demonstrate that soon. I've got some in the next few weeks. I'll be working on that more to get that working. But it's a good point. Like we can start. It can start being a force for good in terms of building stories that are safe for kids to listen to. That doesn't have an agenda, but does teach them valuable lessons about life.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, even for me, like there was one moment this week, and I was just like overwhelmed. I just wanted a break, but at the same time, I was like, no, I'm gonna push through this. I want inspiring, motivating. I want to listen to something inspiring and motivating. And if there was like a go-to place where I could go and I knew I'd heard Joe Rogan talking about what it takes to be successful, for example. And so I just went and Googled one of those clips and I had to listen to that. And that was where I got myself going and back in the headspace. And I was just thinking, like, if there was an inspirational channel that you could go to for uplifting positive content that was like that. It was short, it was like designed to motivate you or something like that. It could be to put you in a different state. And I think if you've got the text, you've got the visuals, you've got the audio, like it could be a very compelling and powerful kind of tool. And I think starting with something short and just getting it perfected there would be the way to go. So
Yeah.
I would propose we just do something very contrived now. We
Okay.
just try and generate like a 10-second like story.
Yeah.
So I was just going to say, write a bedtime story about a cyberpunk girl who has what would you say? Like I was going to relate it back to this theme that we just had. So that was the picture. That was the prompt from the picture that we generated before.
Yeah. What comes to mind when I think about a cyberpunk girl who is perhaps a coder, and she's, I don't know whether we should do this or not, but stealing from the rich, giving back to the poor, or some other
Robin
kind
Hood.
of
Yeah, like
Robin
a
Hood
Robin
style.
Hood style.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Ned. Let's go with Ned Kelly. For anyone who is
Oh,
out there
yeah,
in the
okay.
world, Ned Kelly is an infamous Australian historical figure who stole from the rich to give to the poor. Yeah, so they've tried to erase him from history, I think. But
Yeah.
let's try to bring home a cyberpunk girl who practices, who puts into place, I don't know who, Robin Hood or Ned Kelly, Kelly narrative. Yeah, let's see. Am I spelling this all wrong? I just need to use capitals.
I've got some prompting story tips that we can add to help us create something provoking.
All right. Into the scene, the following text to image prompt. So I'm just gonna, I've never done this before. I don't know how it's gonna work. I usually wouldn't put the prompt in first, but given that we had it, I thought I would just give it a try. Now I've got some sort of problems with my plugins at the moment. So actually writing it behind the scenes, I have to refresh to get the
So there's things that we can do to improve that. Should be, so you should add the text, should be thought-provoking. I'll add this stuff, I'll send this to you. Should be thought-provoking. The story should start with a captivating hook that draws the reader in and sets the stage for the rest of the story. The story should progress through a series of plot twists and turns to keep the reader engaged and invested in the outcome. Story should be narrated in third person with a clear and consistent voice that reflects the style of the chosen author. So you can say in the style of an author if you want. Descriptions should be detailed and evocative, painting a vivid picture of the world and characters.